Saturday. Hope everyone is having a good end to their Saturday. And unless you're just starting to, go out, then hopefully you have a great rest of your evening and night as well. But we had a very, very hot afternoon. We hit a record today. So before we get to that, let's talk about kind of what's been going on around the city. We have a beautiful sunset right now over Calaveras Lake, and over the San Antonio International Airport you can see a little bit of that pink sky, and we have some cirrus clouds. You can see those off towards Calaveras Lake. But let's take a look at some temperatures. So we have those temperatures at 100 degrees at the airport. So this is lower. This is not our high temperature. Simpson is at 101 right now. And you can see again that just very pretty, almost pinkish color sunset. But here was the high temperature for today. We hit 104 degrees. This is way above average for this time of year. Our average is usually at 92. And so that does hit a record that was set back in 1942. So we haven't had San Antonio hit 104 degrees since 1942. So this was something that definitely, I'm sure everybody could feel it if you were out spending any of your time outdoors for this Saturday. Now we still have some watches and warnings. San Antonio is in that pink color, so that's an excessive heat warning, and that's for all of Bexar County. You can see it extends all the way to New Braunfels, Austin, Uvalde, Pleasanton as well. So everyone is dealing with this excessive heat, and everyone else in the orange color is under a heat advisory. So everybody within our viewing area is dealing with some type of heat alert. And so this is actually for San Antonio. This is going to be extended. It's going to be in effect through tomorrow at 7 p.m. So just know if you have any plans to be outdoors for tomorrow before 7 p.m., that it is going to be extremely hot. It is going to be very dangerous heat that we'll be undergoing. So we also have to consider that there'll be a lot of humidity. So that can make heat index values go up to make the temperature feel anywhere up to 105 to even 110. So definitely be careful if you do have any plans to be outside for tomorrow, because this is going to stay in effect until 7 p.m. Now, let's take a look at our temperatures across the board here. I'm going to move this over. So we still have some hundreds on the map. Pleasanton is at 100 degrees, 101 in Hondo, 105 in Pearsall, 105 in Cotulla. But we have some 90s a little bit further north. 98 degrees in New Braunfels, 95 in Bernie, and Seguin is going to be just a little bit cooler at 94 degrees. So that's going to be, if I dare say, the cooler spot for our viewing area. But Floresville, take a look, 101 right now. So we are still dealing with it, even though it's around 8:30. We still have that triple-digit heat. It takes quite a long time until the sun goes down, until we start to see those temperatures drop into the 90s and even into the 80s. Now, there is a slight breeze, so you can have a bit of a relief right now. It's actually increased those winds, but right now we're at 10 miles per hour. We could see them gusting a little bit more for tomorrow, but for this evening, it's not going to be too much. So here are the dew points. It's not too humid right now. Again, it's actually gone down. So we're at a 58 for a dew point, which is actually fairly dry. So if you go out right now, even though it is 100 degrees, you're not going to feel as much of the humidity as you did this afternoon. So it is a bit more bearable than we were earlier around noon and even later 3-4 o'clock this afternoon. But here's one reason why, is because we're under a high pressure. So you can kind of see that we have some rain, just not in the state of Texas, but kind of around. So we are under this high pressure, and it's kind of creating just a bit of a, kind of a cap on the atmosphere to prevent any of those showers to develop. But we do have some cirrus clouds out there, but that's pretty much all we're looking at. Unfortunately, we're not looking at much in the way of rain for the next couple of days, and even for the next 7 days, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Now, as we zoom out here across the country, you can see that Texas is very much on the dry side. We don't have any rain right now, and that's because that high pressure is right now sitting just right over Texas, and it's going to be even worse tomorrow. It's going to move a little bit closer to us, so that means we are going to get actually a bit warmer than we were today, unfortunately. And you can see it here with temperatures that San Antonio is, pretty much the hottest place here right now in the country. So a little bit further just off towards the west, Phoenix, Arizona, they're at 110. But for San Antonio, we're pretty close as far as warmest temperatures right now. We do have some 80s further north, but Texas right now is dealing with some pretty unbearable heat because of that high pressure. So we're going to just see for the next couple of days where the high pressure is going. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be really going too far from Texas. It's still going to have an impact on our weather. So as we go into Tuesday, you can see it moved a little bit further off towards the east, towards the southeast. But, that could give us some more winds, bring a little bit more relief to the warm temperatures, but it still is going to be affecting our weather pattern. So as far as rain is concerned, it's still going to be the dominating factor of our weather. So we're not going to see too much as far as rain chances are concerned. And this high pressure pretty much stays there until Wednesday. Now, let's look at humidity. And this is, with the dew point, we kind of measure as well how much moisture is in the atmosphere. So it's in the 70s for all the way through the rest of the week. This means that we're going to have pretty high humidity, and that can also factor in our heat index and also what the temperature feels like outside. So even if it reads 100 degrees, it could feel 101 up to 103 degrees, just because we're going to have those high dew points. So definitely something to remember over the next couple of days. So here are those wind speeds. They get a little bit gusty as we go into Sunday afternoon, and up to 25 miles per hour for Sunday night. And these are the wind gusts, so it would not be a stable wind, but we could see some gusty winds Sunday night and into also Monday afternoon. This is Monday around 5 o'clock. And so this is around this would be at 26 miles per hour, we could see a wind gust. But unfortunately, we will still have very, very warm and hot temperatures that will stay above average. Looking at the next couple of days, really this is just next 24 hours, but Sunday is when we could see temperatures get even warmer. So this is Saturday. This is tonight. We'll see it at 87 degrees. So we're really not going to see it dip down into the 80s until late tonight. So until then, it's still going to be very warm. And for Sunday morning, this is Sunday at 7:45 a.m. So for tomorrow, you can still be in the 70s and experience that more cooler weather as you start to wake up early Sunday. Now, as we go into Sunday afternoon, we'll have temperatures rise into the 90s, and then by 4 o'clock, this model is showing us at 104 degrees for Sunday afternoon. So very, very warm temperatures. Oh, it even gets it into 105 for Sunday around 6:45. So that's one reason why that excessive heat advisory is going to be in effect all the way through 7 o'clock tomorrow, because we are expecting those temperatures to get possibly up to 105 degrees for tomorrow afternoon. And even around this time tomorrow, we're still looking at triple digits. So if you have plans tomorrow to be out and about, know you are still going to need to prepare for those hot temperatures. So some tips on beating the heat would be to obviously drink plenty of water. It's even good to bring ice water. It does help to cool down your body. Wearing light colored clothing and loose fitted clothing helps, and to limit things like caffeine and alcohol, because that actually could dehydrate your body even more. So those are just a couple of things, but definitely also to stay in the shade. If you can, just to stay maybe over just, even a tree that provides some shade is better than standing out in that direct sun, because it could dehydrate your body even more. Especially, just the more that you sweat, if you're doing any type of physical activity and you're outside, the more you sweat, the more you could dehydrate. And with high temperatures that we had today, definitely is something to remember if you're going to be out and about, to just keep drinking plenty of water. And to also just watch people that are more high risk, children, the elderly, of course, pets, to make sure they're not outside for too long, and to give them plenty of water as well. But if you are going to be outside, also to take frequent breaks is also recommended. To take frequent breaks, to just come inside or to get in the shade. So some things too on detecting heat-related illnesses, things like heat exhaustion and also heat stroke, are things like if you feel faint or dizzy, if you have any type of muscle cramps, any of these types of things that you definitely want to, take precaution, and you want to drink water. If you feel any of these, then you would have possible heat exhaustion. And then even things like a heat stroke is when you want to call 911 if you start to have a body temperature of over 103 degrees and you start to feel nauseous and a very strong pulse. Those are just some of the things that could be an indication of a heat stroke. So of course, everybody, just to be safe out there, especially for tomorrow, because that's when we're really going to be expecting one of the highest temperatures for this week. But something else too that we're going to be looking at, and this is also going to go into effect for tomorrow, is the Saharan dust. We could start to see some of that dust start to mix into our atmosphere as early as tomorrow night. And so with this model, it's showing it around 6 to 7. We'll have some of that Saharan dust start to make its way into Texas, and it's going to continue. So you can see that this goes through Monday and into Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll have some of these just plumes of Saharan dust that will just keep on pushing in. And this is pretty common during the summertime. We will have the Saharan dust kind of track over into Texas. And this is something that will create some of those hazy sky conditions. It'll look a little bit of those milky, it'll create the sun to look a little bit milky. And also sometimes it creates more of those different colored sunsets because there is that dust in the atmosphere. So especially if you're more sensitive, if your lungs are more sensitive to things like allergies, it could feel like you have allergy-like symptoms with more of the Saharan dust in the atmosphere. So this is going to be staying with us starting tomorrow and going into next week. And this continues even into Thursday. So here's your 7 days. Like I said, tomorrow is when we're expecting the highest temperatures for the rest of the week. We're looking at 105 degrees for tomorrow. And finally, we start to get, I dare say cooler, but we get back into the 90s starting Tuesday. Although it's still at 99 degrees, it's definitely something that people, even pets, like I said, elderly and children can definitely feel the difference when you're at from 100 degrees and into the 90s. We're not expecting any more records to be hit, at least with this 7-day forecast, at least after Sunday and Monday when we start to get back into the 90s. But this is still above average for this time of year. The lowest temperature here would be on Wednesday, which is 98 degrees, and usually we're averaging in the low 90s for this time of year. We still haven't officially hit summer yet, so this is, still above average. It should be a little bit more, should feel a little bit more like a warmer spring, not so much that we are smack dab in the summer. So definitely you want to take those preparations if you do have plans to be out for the rest of the week. But the good news is it's not going to be the hundreds, above 100 degrees like we've had the past couple of days. And also we will see a bit of a breeze as well going into Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday we have a very small chance of rain, but we'll keep an eye on it. And we're going to have mostly sunny skies as well. But like I said, some of that Saharan dust could be in the atmosphere, so it could create some of those, more sunsets and sunrises to look a little different than usual because of the Saharan dust. And just checking to see if anyone has any questions on Facebook. But thank you everybody for tuning in to the Facebook Live. And Brian's going to be here for this evening. He's going to be doing the 10 p.m. and he'll be here tomorrow morning as well. So make sure to tune in for tonight. He'll have more on the Saharan dust. I'm sure he'll talk more about that in the newscast. But until then, I'm going to leave the 7 days up for y'all so you can kind of see the good temperatures, I'll say, better temperatures that we'll be having for the next 7 days. But other than that, hope y'all have a great rest of your Saturday evening and Sunday, and a great rest of your Saturday night and Sunday.